seat. And so today is the combination of the chakras that we've been focusing on this week. So we have the third and fourth chakra, our solar plexus and our heart. And we've done the mudras for both of them, but I'll just refresh your memory. So the solar plexus, clasping your hands, and then you're going to put your middle fingers together, and that comes to your solar plexus. And then the other one is the lotus flower mudra, which is bottom of palms, pinky and thumbs connecting, and then you open your fingers up. So it turns into a blossoming flower right at the heart. So those two. And as you come to your comfortable seat, give yourself a solid base. And so if you have any tension happening through the hips or the low back, then make that base a little higher. Giving yourself that place where you can find ease in your seat. Move your sitting bones. And then as you give a little press into your legs, we're focusing at the root chakra now, feeling the connection that you have with the ground. And then move upward into your pelvis and start a little bit of tilt forward and back. Just a tiny tilt. And then find that tilt forward with your belly. Lengthen your sides. And as you draw just a little awareness into the low rib area, into your third chakra, take a big breath and let your heart space lift. Expanding into the fourth chakra. And now let's take that mudra for our solar plexus. So hands clasp, middle fingers connect. As you take your hands to your solar plexus, let your eyes close. And take a couple big breaths here, bringing that gentle awareness to the place of personal power, to that place of strong identity, to that place of courage. And take a couple big breaths. And if you'd like to add the affirmation with this mudra, you can take the affirmation of, I sit in my personal power. I sit in my personal power. And for a moment, tune into what it feels like to tap into your personal power. Where do you feel that in your body? There's no right or wrong answer. Just notice for yourself. That could be around the solar plexus area, or maybe it's through the legs and the hips, wherever you feel strong. I sit in my personal power. And now shifting this mudra to the heart, connecting bottoms of palms, connecting pinkies and thumbs, then opening the petals up of your lotus flower. Thumbs at heart center. And now notice your heart space. Notice the expansion and contraction with breath. And remember that this area is a place of compassion and care, contentment, love, kindness. If you'd like to add the affirmation, it's I open my heart to fully living. I open my heart to fully living. And now connect palms together in Anjali Mudra or prayer position at the heart. And then take this to your third eye and back to heart center and bow towards your heart. And now softly open your eyes and release your hands down. And then we're going to come up to a standing position at the fronts of our mats. And you can set whatever you're sitting on the side, make sure that you have your blocks handy. And now before we start to take some of those lunges, we'll do a little bit more movement through our heart space and through our solar plexus area. So take your feet a comfortable distance. So it doesn't have to be hip distance. It could be a little wider than hips, a little bend to your knees. And then with that bend, we're going to focus on twisting a little bit from our low ribs. So let your arms hang. And as you gently take some twists, using a little momentum to allow your arms to just hit against you gently. Notice that twisting again from the low ribs, from this solar plexus area. This is a part of a practice in Kundalini that very literally affects digestion as you allow your arms to hit against you. It also helps to really stimulate that place of personal power. So begin to allow a little bit faster twist here if that's in your practice, or you can keep it gentle. Your arms might swing a little bit more, try not to hit anything. And then as you slow down and start to come back into center, just come to a still place. Turn your palms forward, let your eyes close, and take a moment to feel. Then softly opening your eyes, take fingertips to connect out in front of you in your ballerina arms place. Press your fingertips together and expand into your upper back, starting to fill out the heart space in the back body. Then inhale, open up into gratitude, expanding and opening the heart space in the front body. And exhale, fingertips connect, expanding into the back. Inhale, open up, lift, expand. Exhale, expand the back. Take one more breath this way. Full inhale, full exhale. Then inhale, sit tall. Again, turn your palms forward and even think of rotating your arms a little bit more so your palms are turning out. And take ear to shoulder a couple of times. And then as you come back into center, now bring hands behind you to clasp. Press palms together, gently lift your shoulders up and back. Take a couple big breaths as your heart space lifts. This will target that third chakra area if you allow it to, so tone gently through the low ribs. Bringing that awareness into the kidneys even. Take a full big deep inhale and lift your heart up higher. Exhale, gentle toning. Then release your hands, take an inhale, stretch your arms up overhead, bend knees, exhale, fold over your legs. Knees are considerably bent here, and as you fold, feel free to take more of a modified fold. You can always have elbows up at your thighs, but wherever you are in your fold, and it can even be hands on blocks, take a little movement with your hips, moving side to side, allowing for a little bit more length through your sides. And then walk your hands up your legs and rise all the way back up to a standing position. Turn your palms forward, lift up and open through the shoulders. Again, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Then inhale, stretch up overhead. And exhale, bent knees to fold. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Hands to hips, press hips back, lift up and open through your shoulders as you rise all the way up to stand. Turn your palms, big full breath, again, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. And this time, a little shake of your head, no. And a nod of your head, yes. Inhale, stretch up overhead. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, bring your hands to blocks, or you can always have a chair or a stool. And now step right foot back into your lunge, starting to get a little bit into the hips. So if you have blocks, you can always move them back a little ways here so that they're underneath your shoulders. Take a full big breath and allow a little bit of movement up and down with your hips. As you move up and down with your hips, really think of this as a place where you can notice the details and move into that place that feels the best in your body, but also recognizing, for example, if you're super flexible through the hips, recognizing that and being conscious of not moving too deeply. And then inhale, step forward. Exhale, step your left foot back. And again, you can adjust where your hands are if you need to, if that feels better to you. And then begin to find that up and down movement. Notice how it feels on this side. You might find that one side feels tighter than the other. Maybe they both feel particularly tight. Maybe you feel pretty open today. I always think that that's a little bit of, something to rejoice if you feel open. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, step your right foot back. Right knee comes to the ground. And then we'll take a gentle twist. This will be with the intention of moving through our shoulders. So feel free to set right hand on a block here if you would like to. Left hand comes to your knee. Put both shoulder blades on your back. And then if it's in your practice, you can stretch your top arm up. Take a full deep inhale and exhale. And now if it feels good to your body, you can start some circles with your arm. And as you do that, allow your torso to turn with your arm. So it's open and then it's turning down. So one more circle in this direction. And then circle the other way. And now hands come back to your blocks. And inhale, step forward. Exhale, left foot steps back into your lunge. Left knee comes to the ground. And now setting left hand on a block, right hand to your knee. Begin to turn open into this twist. Take shoulder blades onto your back. And then stretch up if it feels good. And just remember that if you have any shoulder stuff going on, then you can make the circle smaller, or you can even opt out of circles. So now, as you start to take circles, remember, turn your torso with your arm. As you turn your torso with your arm, that will enable a safer opening through the rotator cuff. Or if you just try to move your arm and you take it too far back or in whatever direction, then it can be tough on the rotator cuff. And then switch directions with your circles. And then both hands come down to your blocks. And inhale, step forward, lift up part way, and exhale, fold over your legs. And now, again, take your feet a little wider than your hips. You might take them out toward the edges of your mat. And take your hands out in front of your feet so that your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders. And keeping your chest extended, start to pedal out gently with your legs, bending one knee at a time. And as you bend through one knee, you're lifting the opposite sitting bone toward the ceiling. As you're pressing one thigh back, really think about not allowing your knee joint to lock. And now as you come back to center with your legs, right hand stays at your block, left thumb comes into your hip crease, and now bend your right knee. Left thigh works back, left sitting bone up. Begin to take a twist here. And as you take your twist, think of your low ribs drawing in to help that twist. Shoulder blades are on your back. If it feels good, stretch left arm to the sky. Engage both feet. Again, left sitting bone lifts. Full, big, deep breath. On your exhale, both hands come back to your blocks. Pause for a moment in the center, sending both sitting bones up, extending your heart. And now bend into your left knee, left hand at your block, right thumb into your hip crease. Give your hip crease a push back, thinking of lifting your sitting bone up as you start to take that twist to the right side. Shoulder blades on your back. Maybe stretch your top arm up. Take a full big breath. Low ribs draw in to help the twist. But then notice the movement of your heart space. Let yourself lengthen just a little more. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat, finding your blocks. And as you inhale, tilt your sitting bones up. Exhale, fold as deeply as your body is ready for. And you might take a hold of opposite elbows here, letting your head release down. You might have elbows coming to your thighs, maybe hands clasping behind the back of your neck. Take a couple big breaths, and with your breath, let your heart move. So inhale, maybe lengthen a tiny bit, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 2 more at your own pace. Then releasing your hands down now, heel toe your feet back into about hip distance and step back to hands and knees. And then into a child's pose. Make sure to grab your blocks as you head that way. And we will take just a little bit more heart opening here. So hands reach out on your prop so that your fingers wrap over the edge, and then settle your head down, letting your heart move toward the ground. Full big deep breath. Fill up from your crown to your tail. Two more full breaths right here. And now inhale, gently rise up, coming up to your seat. All the way down to sitting bones. And then we're going to take a little bit more hip opening here. So bring a prop, bring your block out in front of you, and it could be a stack of books here if you'd like. It's been a little while since we've done this one, but set your right heel on the edge of your block. Your left leg is your base, and then move your sitting bones. So you have a little bit of space between you and your block. Press your fingertips down behind you and lift up through your heart. Flex your foot. And now from here, a little opening and closing with your knee. So you're working a little bit through your hip flexors. And now opening it as much as your body is ready for. Take your fingertips to the floor just in front of you and push down, lengthen, lift with your heart space. You might stay right here if this is plenty of a hip opener, or if you would like to, you can always walk your way a little bit forward. Right arm can work underneath your right leg, or you can reach over the top, maybe wherever that is for you, and take a couple big breaths. Use your breath to help you move your heart space. Think of all the way down at your low ribs, moving forward as you inhale. Maybe your exhales help you deepen. Maybe they just help you sustain where you are. And then inhale, gently rise back up and switch sides, taking your right leg as your base, left heel to the corner or the edge of your prop. Give your foot a flex and move your sitting bones. From this place, fingertips behind you help you to sit taller, expand and open through your heart, and then start that opening and closing action here. Then keeping your leg as open as your body is ready for, and keep that flex of your foot. Long spine, walk your fingertips forward. And as you keep long through your spine, you can work your way out as far as you need to go. Taking the variation again that works for your body. That might be reaching over, that might be reaching under. But then again, use your breath to help you inhale and extend from your low ribs. Exhale, maybe deepen. Maybe stay in that place, or maybe back off a little bit. Depends on how intense it is. And now inhale, gently rise back up and go ahead and sit in whatever variation of cross-legged or knees feels the best to you. And then take your hands behind your back to clasp again, opening up through your heart space. And this time we'll add a little lift through our hands if that's in your practice. So first with your hands touching your back, press palms together, lift your shoulders up and back, start to engage the low ribs. Inhale, shoulders lift again, chest lifts. And now if you want to, you can start to pull your hands away from your back. And as you press palms and pull them apart, a little resistance, you might find that you target some different areas for a little stretch. For me, that sometimes gets into the triceps, sometimes into the delts even. So you get to notice what that is for you. Big, deep breath. And then gently release your hands and take a fold. Walk your hands forward, stretching through your sides here, maybe setting your head down. 3 full breaths. Then inhale, gently rise up, and we're going to come up to tall knees. And we'll take a modified version of our camel pose. So as you come up to tall knees, if knees are tricky, then feel free to add a little cushion underneath them. And then we're going to add a bolster over the backs of our legs. So tuck your toes under, and a bolster comes to the back of your legs. And if that's not quite high enough for you, I can pretty easily reach back and touch the bolster. If you can't, then you can always take blocks to the sides of your legs and bring your fingers to that instead, okay? So from here, as you push down into whatever you're using, blocks or bolster, start to lift up and open through your heart space, expanding through your chest. As you do so, you might bring more of your fingers down, maybe you even set your palms down, but push into it, lift and expand your heart, and then begin to notice. Push your inner thighs back and engage your low belly. Engage your low ribs. Inhale, heart lift, shoulder blades engaged. Exhale, engage through the core to support your low back. Full big deep breath. Inhale, gently rise back up and set the bolster aside. And then come all the way into a child's pose here, walking hands forward. You can always shift your hips a little side to side to give your low back a little bit of love. And then inhale back to your tall knees one more time in this camel pose. So bolster comes back to your calves or wherever it happens to rest. If it's a bigger bolster, it comes all the way out to your heels sometimes. So now, before we actually expand and open up into this pose, let's rotate inner thighs back until basically they touch your bolster, which they might already, but rotate them back and broad. And then fingertips to your bolster. And then push and begin to expand and lift. And as you do so, find that tone. Low belly, low ribs, support your back body. Inhale, lift your heart, shoulder blades engage. Exhale, engage your core. One more time, full inhale, full exhale. Then inhale, rise back up. And now, as you settle your hips back this time, toes stay tucked, so we'll give the bottoms of our feet a little stretch. Hands come to your upper thighs. Just add that little bit of side-to-side movement through your hips. And notice the stretch of the bottoms of your feet. And then come forward and untuck your toes and give a little tap. And then sit all the way down. And as you come to your comfortable seat here, we will take a prop underneath our legs. We're not going to take our forward fold here. We're going to take our twist, but I want your hamstrings to not have to do a lot of work. So if a big bolster is a bit much, then feel free to use a rolled up blanket. And then as you take ear to shoulder, just notice any tension that's present. Notice if it takes a little extra effort to sit tall. And then reach across with your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Press down with your left fingertips behind you and start to lengthen and lift. As you exhale, draw your low ribs in to help you twist. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, twist. One more full deep breath. Inhale, come back into center. Take your left hand across to your right thigh. Right fingertips behind you. Press down and find lots of lift through your sides. Exhale, low ribs in to help you twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back into center. And walk your feet toward you. Move your bolster aside. And then we'll take a little more shoulder and hip opening as we come to our arm pigeon. So we're going to come forward onto our bellies. And as you come forward, just make sure you have space at the sides. And so stretch your right arm out to the right side, palm is down. And you might remember that if your shoulders are tight, then bringing your arm closer to your body is the variation that you can take as opposed to turning your hand, which tends to be what often happens, but that dips our shoulder down in a direction that the rotator cuff tends to not be happy about. So palm facing down, press your left hand down and begin to turn your whole torso to the left side. You can set your head on the ground or on a block or on a pillow or whatever you happen to have. Feel free to pick your top leg up, bend your knee and step your foot behind you if you would like to. If that ends up being too much, then feel free to just stack your legs. Take a couple deep breaths here and energetically reach upward through your thigh. And then gently unwind, coming all the way back around. And left arm reaches out to the side, palm is down. Right hand supports you to turn yourself to the right side. And as you take that turn to the right, feel free to add the leg variation here. Take a couple big, deep breaths. And again, notice if you step behind you and your knee is aimed toward the right side, then see if you can energetically lift your knee. Or maybe walk it closer or further away to find that reach. You're always welcome to come out of the hip part of it. And now gently unwind. And set your hands underneath your head, bend your knees, and take a few windshield wipers. And now go ahead and set your legs down, hands underneath your shoulders, and push all the way back into a child's pose. Last time. As you take your child's pose, feel free to take a variation that serves you. So you might reach your arms back alongside your body here. You might take hands together in prayer position, elbows bent. Find whatever it is that helps your body feel settled in this pose. And then gently push yourself up to your seat and find your bolster. And with your bolster, we're going to sit on the end of it and let our ribs and heart space be open off of the back side. So leave enough space off the back side. Sit at the very edge of your bolster. And as you lay over your bolster and your head comes down, shoulders come down. If your shoulders are not all the way down, then inch just a little bit until they're at least most of the way on the ground. So you have a lift through your low ribs and your heart space is expanded. And then your arms can be in whatever position feels good. I personally like a cactus here, but you can take whatever that is. If you would like, you can extend your legs out and allow for more of your front body to be opened up. Or if it feels best to take knees bent, dropping into touch, or even a butterfly here. Sometimes that feels good too. As you let your eyes close, if that's comfortable, just give yourself permission to settle. Remember that you're never stuck. You can always shift and make it more comfortable if there's something about it that is sticky. take 3 more full breaths here. And then if your legs are extended, you'll bend your knees and roll gently off to one side. Push yourself up to a seat just long enough to move your bolster aside. And then you're gonna grab your blanket and we will take that rolled up blanket underneath our spines. Giving a little bit smaller of a prop underneath us sometimes allows for a different fascia release. So blanket underneath your spine, you can sit on the blanket or you can sit on the floor and then lay over it. And again, open arms up to whatever is comfortable. It can be a T, it can be cactus. You can take feet together in butterfly, drop your knees in together to touch, or extend your legs. Now from this place, very purposely focus your breath. So even though you're taking a full breath that moves the entire length of your spine, notice that space around your heart. And even purposely create little micro movements of your shoulder blades. So that might be in toward each other, that might be up and down. Little bits of movement here as you take some full deep breaths. And then allowing yourself to settle. And now we're going to take some windshield wipers with our legs. If you would like to take the blanket out from underneath you, you can. If it feels good to have it underneath you, then walk your feet out wide and start to move knees side to side. This allows for maybe a little bit more movement around the bolster, the blanket, as you take this hip, thigh, psoas, sometimes pocket muscle movement. We have 2 more on each side. And then coming back up to center, again, roll over to one side, move the blanket aside and come back down onto your back. And keeping the blanket in its roll, you can set it aside. But now knees draw up into your chest, and as you rock side to side, let your back body lengthen. Then open knees up, feet are flexed, and add movement forward and back with your knees. And then alternate which knee is moving forward and which knee is moving back. So right knee forward, left knee back, left knee forward, right knee back. And then back into center and give your knees a squeeze. And then pulse a few times, in and out. And this can be done with your knees open a little wider if that feels better. Three more pulses. And now set footprints on the ground. You're welcome here to put your bolster underneath your legs if you would like to. We're going to focus a little bit more on the shoulders, on the heart space. So if you want to, just give your legs a little bit of a lift with the bolster. And take your arms out to cactus. And then take your head side to side. Shaking your head no toward the ceiling. And then as your head turns to the right side, nod your head a couple times. And then to the left side and nod your head. And then back into center. Now with your elbows bent, you're going to bring your elbows in toward each other to touch. And with your elbows touching, palms touching, make little circles in one direction. And little circles in the other direction. And then as you come back to center now, cross left elbow over your right. And from here you might take hugs or you might take eagle arms. But take a big breath and fill out that space in between your shoulder blades. And then uncross your arms and cross them the other way. And again, hugs or eagle, your choice, and take a big breath. And then uncross your arms, take them back to cactus. And now we're going to move our arms so that ultimately we're keeping our arms as close to the ground as we can. But with elbows bent, bring your fingertips up above your head to touch. And then elbows bent down toward your sides. Elbows stay bent, fingertips up to touch, and elbows by your sides. You might notice a place where your hands don't stay grounded. It's okay. Or your elbows don't stay grounded. Again, it's okay. No trying to make it happen. Just noticing what is for you. A couple more times. And then finally, with arms overhead, reach long, and you can clasp hands here if you want to, but reach so far that maybe you feel your low back lift, and you can even extend your legs here if you want to, even if your legs are over something. Take a big breath. And now take a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart, or both hands to your hips. And take a couple big breaths right here. Just noticing for yourself how your body's feeling. And you're going to pick one more stretch or movement that would feel good to you. So if you'd like to, you can always walk your feet in, lift your hips, and bring a prop underneath your hips. Or you can take a happy baby pose or a spinal twist. But take a few moments to find what would feel really good in your body. And take some deep breaths. And if you're moving, then move with your breath. If you're holding an asymmetric pose on one side and then the other, then take 3 to 5 breaths there before you switch to the other side. And now begin to work your way into a Shavasana that feels really good. You're welcome to take a rolled up blanket underneath your neck here if you'd like to. You're welcome to take a prop under your legs. Whatever variation of a resting pose would feel good in your body. Take the time to find that place for yourself, adjusting and shifting until your body is ready to settle. And as you find that place for yourself, bring awareness down to your feet. Add a little movement into your ankles. And a little flex and point if that feels good. And then relax your feet. And bring awareness up into your calves and shins. And do whatever you need to do to tighten your calf muscles. And then relax them. And then bring your awareness up to your thighs and hamstrings. And a couple of times, tighten up your thighs and relax your thighs. Tighten up your thighs and relax your thighs. One more time, tighten up and relax. And then bring your awareness to your hips. And add a little bit of movement. And add a little pelvic tilt forward and back or side to side. And then relax your hips. And then bring awareness up to your rib cage. And press your ribs gently into the ground. Think of the entire back of your ribs pressing. And then relax your ribs. And now up into your shoulders and arms. And for a moment, reach long out through your fingertips, no matter what position your arms are in. Even if maybe your hands are resting against your sides, just stretch long. And then relax your arms and your shoulders. And then bring awareness up into your neck. Lengthen the back of your neck. And then gently press your head into the ground, or if you have it resting on something, just a gentle press. And then relax. And then notice your eyes behind your eyelids. And do what it takes to tense up your eyes. And then relax. And then notice your jaw. And move a little bit through your jaw, open and closed, side to side. And relax your jaw. Now hold your entire body in your awareness, from feet to crown. And give yourself full permission to release and let go. And bring awareness to your breath. Bring gentle movement to fingers, toes, your hips, your head and neck. Bend your knees and roll over to your side. And then slowly push yourself back up to your seat. Clasping your hands, connect your middle fingers and take this mudra to your solar plexus. And with your eyes closed, take a moment for a full breath. If you'd like, say to yourself, I sit in my personal power. Then bring hands up to your heart, connecting the base of your palms, your pinkies and your thumbs, opening up the petals of your lotus flower. Thumbs to heart center, full deep breath. If you want, you can say, I hope I open my heart to fully living. Hands connected, heart center. Draw them to your third eye and back to heart center. And bow towards your heart. Have a beautiful day and have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.